Let's begin with a structural overview. Welcome to another lecture. Today we consider Lamine Yamal Nasraoui Ebana, a teenager who, by a combination of technique, timing, and temperament, has unsettled the usual developmental curve in elite football. I am Alexei, and well, we will proceed with care and a touch of dry humor, as is only proper when discussing billion-euro clauses and 16-year-olds with tournament medals.
Hi, I'm Priyanka. It's, kind of surreal to talk about someone who was doing homework while winning awards. But here we are. Thank you for having me, Professor.
To frame our discussion, Lamine Yamal is a Spanish footballer, born in July 2007 in Catalonia, operating primarily as a right winger for Barcelona and as a senior international for Spain. Technically, he is an inverted left footer on the right flank, attacking the half spaces. He blends high-volume dribbling with disguised through balls, precise outswinging crosses to the far post, and, if you will, the outside of the foot trivela. His passing vision and composure under pressure are the salient features we observe across contexts. Before we get to the complexities, brief definitions. La Masia, Barcelona's youth academy. El Clásico, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, the sport's great rivalry. The Copa Trophy, for the best under-21 player. A buyout clause. The legal price point at which a contract can be unilaterally dissolved. These terms will recur, so it's crucial to understand them with precision.
I think the stakes here are more than sport. He's like a symbol. Moroccan and Equatorial Guinean heritage, raised in Catalonia. He celebrates with the 304 hand sign for his Rocafonda postcode. It makes me wonder how a teenager becomes a cultural reference point so quickly.
Indeed. The relevance operates on two planes. On the pitch, Yamal accelerates Spain's generational renewal and Barcelona's creative phase. Off the pitch, his background and voice have social contour. He condemned anti-Muslim and xenophobic chants in March 2026, publicly waved a Palestinian flag at Barcelona's title parade in May 2026, and in June 2026 became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador for children's rights and humanitarian emergencies. In simpler terms, talent meets platform, and the platform is global.
So, basic facts. Met Lionel Messi as a 6-month-old in a photo shoot. Missed the 2023 Golden Boy ceremony because he had school. And there's that €1 billion buyout clause in October 2023, which is basically a signpost saying, please do not knock.
Let's start with the history. Scouted by Barcelona at age 6, signed in 2014, fast-tracked through La Masia. First team debut, April 2023 against Real Betis at 15 years, 9 months, becoming Barcelona's youngest first-team player since 1922. Spain call-up at September 2023, debut and goal against Georgia a week later, making him Spain's youngest player and scorer, and the youngest in Euro qualifying. The 2023-24 season produced a catalog of youngest ever marks across La Liga and the Champions League, and, if you will, 50 senior appearances before turning 17. Euro 2024 was a hinge event. Youngest player, youngest assister, youngest knockout participant and scorer, 4 assists, and that curling semi-final equalizer versus France, later named goal of the tournament. Spain won the title. He took young player of the tournament. Subsequently, September 2024, a Champions League goal at 17 years, 68 days, second youngest in competition history. Then October 2024, youngest goal scorer in El Clásico at the Bernabeu during a 4-0 win, amid reports of racist abuse directed at several Barcelona players, including Yamal. The duality of triumph and toxicity is sadly part of the modern record.
Building on that, 2024-25 brings the domestic treble with Barcelona. He wins the Copa Trophy in 2024 and 2025, first to do it twice, and finishes 2025 Ballon d'Or runner-up. Then the number 10 shirt arrives in July 2025. It's, heavy symbolism, but he scores in the league opener wearing it.
Speaking of milestones, 2025 also features a 100th Barcelona appearance in a Champions League semi-final at San Siro, where Simone Inzaghi calls him a phenomenon born every 50 years. For Spain in June 2025, he converted his first professional penalty and finished joint top scorer of the Nations League finals. In February 2026, he recorded his first senior hat-trick, then sustained a season-ending hamstring tear in April 2026 while taking a penalty. At the World Cup that June, he scored against Saudi Arabia in Atlanta and became the second player aged 18 or younger since Pelé to score the opening goal in a World Cup match. And importantly, in June 2026, he formalized his social advocacy as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. On a personal note, I am interested in how a player's multicultural roots and community ties. Here, the 304 celebration for Rocafonda recode the narratives around the club and the nation. In classical music terms, motifs recur. In football, the motif is identity, and it modulates public perception as much as any step-over or trivela. This logically leads us to three larger questions. First, historically, what does early integration into Spain's senior team achieve? Second, counterfactually, how might history differ if Yamal had chosen Morocco or Equatorial Guinea? Third, in the present, how should clubs manage workloads for prodigies whose bodies are still maturing while expectations are already adult-sized? Big question 1. Spain integrated Yamal at 16. The evidence is straightforward. He immediately generated assists at Euro 2024 and scored a decisive semi-final goal. We observed that early inclusion maximized the window for record-setting, and more importantly, accelerated the tactical refresh of La Roja, aligning his left-footed creativity with runners like Dani Carvajal and attacking teammates who benefit from his far-post delivery and disguise.
I'm curious about the mechanism. Like, how exactly does early integration help a national team beyond the headlines? Is it chemistry? Or market value? Or just, minutes in the system?
To elaborate, three mechanisms. First, tactical continuity. Installing a creator early allows a coaching staff to build automatisms around him over multiple cycles. Second, selection clarity. Committing to Yamal closed the door on dual eligibility debates and stabilized planning. Third, psychological normalization. When a teenager performs in major tournaments, subsequent high-stakes matches are, comparatively, routine. In conclusion, Spain purchased compounding returns, time in the role, trust in the role, and of course, data from the role. Big question 2, the counterfactual. If Yamal had chosen Morocco or Equatorial Guinea, we can infer that Spain's Euro 2024 path would have required alternative sources for 4 assists and a semi-final equalizer of high technical difficulty. Morocco, already ascendant after 2022, would have gained a left-footed right-sider to tilt their chance creation. Equatorial Guinea would have received a generational uplift in talent density.
What if we thought about it like this? For his personal arc, would a different national team have changed his development or marketability? Or do Barcelona minutes just dominate everything anyway?
It is worth noting that Barcelona minutes are the primary engine, but international context refines the blade. With Spain, he faced elite European defenses at Euro 2024 and the Nations League. That yields match film against top blocks, which feeds coaching feedback loops and sponsorship narratives. With Morocco or Equatorial Guinea, exposure profiles shift. Different confederation rhythms, different tournament cadences, potentially different pressure signatures. Marketability tends to scale with global television moments. Spain's Euro run generated those moments immediately, so the counterfactual likely alters the timing and shape of his global profile, even if the underlying club development remained robust. Big question 3. Workload management for prodigies. Yamal logged 50 senior matches at 16 and reached 100 Barcelona appearances by spring 2025. By April 2026, he suffered a torn hamstring while striking a penalty. The lesson is not alarmism, but calibration. We observed that Hansi Flick, during a 2025 scoring drought, emphasized process metrics, chance creation and team impact, over raw goals, thereby reducing pressure to overreach physically or psychologically.
Can we maybe now look at the modern toolkit? Like, what do clubs actually do to protect a teenager who is already central to tactics and marketing?
Theoretically and practically. Individualized conditioning with strength ratios that account for growth velocity. Neuromuscular monitoring for fatigue. Red zone minute caps anchored to training load data. Rotation strategies that preserve touches and decision-making reps without cumulative sprint volume. And crucially, psychological load management, because scrutiny can be biomechanical by proxy. For further research, one might compare cohorts who amassed 3,000 plus senior minutes before 18 versus those who were throttled to 1,500, correlating with soft tissue incidence over a 3-year horizon. Mathematically, the curve we seek is sublinear minutes with superlinear learning.
So yeah, moving on. I guess the human side matters too. He faced racist abuse in 2024. His father was injured in 2024. He took public stands in 2026. Maybe that's part of workload as well, just not the kind you measure on GPS.
Clearly, social context is a load multiplier. Yet we also saw resilience. The 304 celebration reclaims a stigmatized postcode. The public statements set norms. The UNICEF role channels attention constructively. From a systems perspective, support networks, for example, family, club, and federation, are as decisive as quad strength when the schedule compresses. To summarize, Lamine Yamal is an emerging elite whose left foot and decision-making have already shaped Barcelona and Spain. We asked 3 questions. Why early national integration matters, how a different allegiance might have rewritten recent history, and how to manage workloads so that precocity matures into longevity. Related avenues include broader youth development research, academy acceleration policies, injury epidemiology in teenage pros, and the sociology of athlete voice.
That was helpful to think through, actually. Thank you, Professor.
This then completes our present analysis. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Priyanka. Until next time.